This conference will now be recorded.
A very good evening to all of you. Welcome
Good
for the
evening, ma'am.
today's session. In the previous session, we had discussed about the payment vouchers. Yes, so we were in the course of creating vouchers for recording the payment transactions. So in the previous class, we had a discussion of three sets of entries. That is paid rent and commission by cash for Janagar branch. Then furniture with a cost price was purchased of 20 was purchased at the cost of 18 through a check payment. And shares in Wipro and computer were purchased through HDFC Bank check. So we have passed all these three entries in the previous session. So in today's session, we will go further with the payment vouchers. Okay. So I just want to ensure, is the screen visible to all of you? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So, okay, done. So next we go for the next set of payment vouchers. Now we have the next voucher as paid advertisement expenses of 10,000 by cash. So company has incurred some advertisement expenses, and the total advertisement expenses is 10,000 amount. Now below I have given a kind of an information on advertisement expenses. Banners 5,000, pamphlets 2,000, hoardings 2,000, news 1,000. So, company has incurred advertisement expenses in the form of banners, pamphlets, hoardings, and news, right? So, in all the four methods, we see advertisements, right? Now, if you take the example of a jewelry, if you take, GRT jewelers, we see the banners of the jewelry brands. We also see the pamphlets where it's a small booklet which you receive at your doorstep, right? Of giving various designs and makes. Also, we have hoardings, right? When you're moving down the road, you have huge displays, where of any gold jewelry or diamond jewelry or any platinum. And if you go for the news, of course, in the channels you always watch no wastage charges, or this is the make we have, these are designs we're having, or no, wastage charges, no making charges, somewhat like this, right? They promote their brand through the media as well, right? So in all the ways, probably more ways, they advertise their brand of jewelry. Now, all form part of the advertisement. But the question is, how do I put up everything here? How do I pass this entry? So here, what I have to do, what step I have to take? Now I have to accommodate banners, hoardings, pamphlets, and news. So how could I do that is, what would be the answer? Let's see. Yeah. Now we have total advertising expenses as 10,000. In that we have banners, we have we have around 5,000. We have pamphlets 2,000. We have hoardings 2,000, and we have news 1,000. Okay. Now what can I do? The best way I can allocate these expenses are by using one special feature in TallyPrime. What it could be? What could I use? Any answer from your side? Let me see who's going to do that. How could I present these expenses? This feature you would have used already in the earlier sessions.
Ma'am, cost category.
Yes, it is cost categories and cost centers. Yes, yes, Alina. Was it Alina who answered the question?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. So it is cost category and cost centers. Super. So what I would give as cost category, I would give cost category as advertisement.
Advertisement expense.
Yes. Advertisement expense or only advertisement? Anything would be okay. And what I would give the cost center, I would give the cost centers as all these, that is banners, hoardings, pamphlets, and news. Yes. So your the conceptual clarity, I think all of you have completely. Yes, it's very good. So this is how first step we what we do is we create the cost categories and cost centers, and we can sub allocate the expenses of 10,000 into banners, pamphlets, hoardings, and news. So let's begin the entry. So let's all of us create cost categories and cost centers. So all of us are in the gateway of Tally. Under create option, we have cost category. Create cost category as advertisement. Allocate revenue items, yes. Non-revenue, no. Next, press the escape key. Come back to the list of masters and go back to the cost center now. Yes, choose the cost category, space bar, advertisement, and name the first one is banners. Let it be under primary itself. Hoardings, news, and pamphlets. So now we have created cost categories and cost centers. We press the escape key and come back to the gateway of Tally. So we are to the payment vouchers now. So vouchers under transactions and F5 payment voucher. Now, how do we pass the entry? We have to debit the advertisement expenses, credit cash, because advertisement expenses are being paid in cash. If I bring back the transaction here, paid advertisement expenses by cash, right? So cash is moving out of the business. So credit what goes out and debit all expenses and losses, nominal account, advertisement expenses. So debit advertising, credit cash. So the same entry will put up here. Now already if you're having advertisement expenses in the list of ledgers, you can select it. Now I don't have the particular ledger in my list. So what do? I am going to create it. So I will select the create option, advertisement expenses. Under the group of indirect expenses, type of ledger not applicable, Cost centers are applicable? Yes. This is extremely important. Cost center should be yes. Is GST applicable? Same procedure. Spacebar, not applicable. Include an accessible value, not applicable. Yes. Accept? Yes. Now here, type the amount as 10,000. Once you type the amount as 10,000, press enter. You get the cost allocation screen. Okay. Now, in this cost allocation screen, first thing what you have to do is you have to press the space bar, choose the cost category. You have to choose as advertisement.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you show that again where you have to select the cost center as yes? So is it select cost center slash class?
Okay. Now, in which screen are you, Pasan, as of now? Are you in the payment voucher screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, when you press enter, you're not getting the cost allocation screen.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now, currently on the payment voucher screen, from there, you press Alt G, go to option. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now here, select Alter Master. Alter Master is at the top. After Create Master, you have Alter Master. Select Alter
Yes,
Master,
ma'am.
press Enter. Now select the ledger. Select Advertisement Expenses Ledger.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, is this feature appearing for you? See, I'm just showing you here. Yes, this cost centers are applicable. Is this feature coming in your screen?
Yes, ma'am.
So, is it yes or no there?
It is yes.
It is yes. Now, from there, press F12 configuration.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so check this if it is yes or no. Apply cost centers for ledger. It has to be yes.
Yes, ma'am. It is yes.
Um, so press the escape key. Okay, and now you press control I you give. Control I is more details. Don't exit the ledger. Press control I.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now you get the screen. List of ledger details.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now in that you have a feature, cost center applicability. Is it yes or no in that?
Yes, ma'am. It is yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yes, fine. Done. Because we are checking from all around whether in case if in any of the fields it is not activated, we can do that. So now press escape key and press control it. It's everything fine. Okay.
Yes,
Now
ma'am.
come back to the payment voucher by pressing the escape key.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
back to the payment voucher. Now press F12. Now press F12 configuration
Yes,
from the
ma'am.
payment voucher, and over there you have show cost center details. Some it will be no in your screen. Activate it as yes.
Sure. Ma'am,
Show cost.
actually, the
Huh?
configuration screen is appearing, but
Huh.
some details are missing from my screen. Like under the general details, I have very few things, but in your screen there are many. There are some things that are missing under my general details.
No, yes, no, it's not missed. It is hidden. So what you can do is you can just go back by pressing backspace. And can you see there show more configurations is there at the top?
Sure. Yes, ma'am.
It'll be no in your screen. Make it as yes.
Yes, ma'am. I got it. Yes,
Now in that, come at the bottom, you have show cost center details. It will be no in your screen.
Ma'am, it
Activate it
is
as
yes.
yes. Is it
It is
yes?
yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, fine. So one more is there. See, select cost center will be there. For me, it is actually no because already cost centers are activated. If it is still not appearing, probably you can check once now. You press Control A now. Don't make any changes. Press Control A. You're back to the
Yes,
payment
ma'am.
voucher. Hmm. Now
Yes,
press
ma'am.
Enter on the amount. Press Enter on the amount 10,000. Now you're able
Yes,
to get
ma'am.
the cost
I got
allocation.
the.
Very
Yes,
good.
ma'am.
Okay, done.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So now the space bar, you choose advertisement as your cost category. And what is the cost center now? Now carefully we have to go. We have four now, not one. Banners, hoardings, pamphlets, and news. So one by one you have to give. Space bar, select banners. So what is the cost incurred for banners? 5,000 rupees. So type 5,000 in the amount column. Next, press enter. You'll come to the next column. Now again space bar, select holdings. Select holdings 2000. Press enter. Again space bar, select pamphlets 2000. Press enter. Again space bar, news. Select news. So this is how we get the sub allocation of all our expenses. Is that clear? So we have banners, hoardings, pamphlets, and news. So if you can see, watch out there, we have the total amount aggregated to 10,000 rupees. Now, once you finish entering the respective amounts, press enter, enter, you come to the payment voucher screen. Now, over here, credit cash. 10,000 rupees. So here you can easily make out, right? The main amount is 10,000 or the aggregate amount is 10,000. In that 10,000, 5,000 has been spent for banners, for 2,000 pamphlets, 2,000 hoardings, and 1,000 is for news. So, as I told you in the initial classes, that cost category and cost centers can be used for the sub allocation of incomes, expenses, right? Based on the conceptual knowledge what you carry about these two features. Yes, so it gives you a, I can say, an interpretation of your expenses and incomes, or as I say, a clarity of branch wise if you have to allocate. Yeah, it is highly useful, very useful, okay, for an accountant. So press enter and give the narration as being advertisement expenses paid by cash. So press enter and pass the narration. Okay. So I hope all of you have passed this entry. Now we'll go for the next one. Yes. Cash withdrawn for household purposes of rupees 5,000 from HDFC Bank. Company has withdrawn, probably the managing director or the proprietor would have withdrawn 5,000 rupees from HDFC Bank for household purposes. Now, moment I take household purposes, how do I categorize this particular expense as? What is
Drawings.
it? Yes, it is drawings. Good. So, whether it is a household furniture or a daughter's marriage or any kind of a jewelry purchase, personal use, in short, personal use, it is always considered under the nature of drawings. Now, now the ledger we have a clarity. Now, if I'm creating a ledger in Tally for drawings account, I would create it under which group? Now, let me show you the list of groups here. Now, let's say I'm creating the ledger for drawings. Now, drawings would be covered or drawings would represent which group? Yes?
Miscellaneous asset.
No answers? It would be covered under the group of capital. Now we cannot regard drawing as an expense, right? Now where do we place the drawings? It is under the balance sheet, on the liability side, in the nature of in for the share capital. Now we have a deduction from the same when we are arriving at the what? The closing capital or the closing amount of capital in the balance sheet. Now, we have to regard or consider drawings under the group of capital itself because it comes under that particular nature. Can we regard drawings under the bank accounts? No. Under cash in hand? Never. Current assets, current liabilities, deposits? No. We cannot place the ledger of drawings under any kind of a group, not even reserves and surplus, because drawing is not a reserve. Yes, it can't come under the group of reserves and surplus, not even retained earnings. So the drawing should be categorized under the group of capital account. Cost center should not be applicable. Let it be no. Like this, we create the drawings ledger. Now, drawings have to be created under which group? Now we have a clarity. Now, how do we pass the entry? So, what is a journal entry to be passed for any kinds of a drawings entry? Yes, drawings account, debtor, HDFC bank account. Okay, so drawings account debtor to HDFC bank account. So on the debit side, you must have DR. Okay, I mean drawings account DR and the HDFC bank has to be credited. So, and this is the way we pass the entry in the Tally software. So let's pass the payment voucher. Yes, drawings account. So how much has been withdrawn? Around 5,000 rupees. Type amount as 5,000. Credit HDFC Bank. Suppose I'm withdrawing from by check, I can use a check. Or if I'm going for an ATM, same procedure, space bar under transaction type. We will select show more option. And here we have ATM 5,000. No check number has to be given. Being cash withdrawn for household purposes. Okay, so being cash withdrawn for the household purposes. This is the narration to be given, and please pass the entry. Okay, so please do mute yourself. Only when a question has to be raised, you can unmute and then mute back, or it would cause a disturbance for the session.
दीदी के लिए
Is it Noor? Noor Hazira, please do mute. Noor Hazira Ahmed, please do mute your mic. I hope I'm audible to you. So I'm just sending a message for Noor Hazira. Please do mute yourself. Have you muted? Okay. Yes. Thank you. Right? So now let's pass this entry. Right? So this covers one set of payment vouchers. Right? So we have covered a couple of entries. We have covered 5 entries under payment vouchers. Now let us make a small discussion about the types of bills, which plays a very crucial role when we are passing the transactions for receivables, payables, such kind of entries. Okay, right. Now here we have types of bill. Now, first of all, to whom does the bill relate to? Where can we relate the bill? Concept of bill. To which type of ledger? To which concept? Moment if I talk about the bill, I would relate a bill or an invoice only to two parties. And which are the two parties? One is a sundry debtor, second is a sundry creditor. So only to these two parties the bill or the invoice either would be issued or would be received. Yes. So moment we talk about the bill, it is only my suppliers and my customers who will come into the picture. Now in Tally we have 4 types of bills. We have new reference, we have against reference, we have advance bill, and we have on account. First of all, what do we mean by the term a new reference bill? Now I'll give a small example for the same. I am running a stationery business. Let's assume that in my stationery shop, books are running out of stock. Long notebooks ruled. Okay. Now I have to place an order with my regular supplier of books. Okay, who regularly supplies me the stock of notebooks. So I have to place an order with him. So what do I do is I place an order for around 100 long notebooks ruled. So after 1 or 2 days, he comes and he delivers me the stock. This most of you would have made an observation also. Yes, this happens in reality. So I receive 100 notebooks from my supplier. Moment I receive 100 notebooks, of course the bill would be issued by him that this is the cost you have to pay. Let's say I have to pay around 2000 rupees. Okay. Now what happens is 2000 I have to pay to my supplier. situation what it would be is, I would not make the payment immediately to my supplier. Reasons can be anything, but probably one of the reasons is I have to make a stock inspection. Stock inspection means I have to check, I have to verify that whether all notebooks, are of a good quality, no pages are torn, there is proper binding for the notebooks. Yes. Now I cannot sell a damaged stock to my customers. They are going to return it back. So I have to do a stock verification first. Second thing is, I after I do a stock verification, then only I can clear his bills. Now, what happens at the spot immediately? I can't check all the 100 notebooks. Probably I'm held up in the shop, or as of now, it is not possible to stock verify immediately. So, what happens? I receive the stock at my place of business. Okay, he will raise the bill in my name and he will give me the bill, issue me the bill. Now, question is, do I make the payment immediately on the receipt of stock? No, I don't make the payment. I just receive the stock at my place of business, but payment is not yet made to the supplier. It is pending, yet to be paid. But still, I have to record this entry. Yes. So, can I leave it as it is? I cannot do so. We had discussed one of the concepts in accounting, that is accrual concept. What does accrual say? Moment any transaction takes place in the company, whether it is a purchase, sale, or any other transaction, it has to find a place in the company's books of accounts immediately. Yes. Then after I make a payment to the supplier, again I'll make a one more entry. So, the same way, once I receive the stock of 100 notebooks, I have to record it immediately in my Tally software. Tally software is my company's books of accounts. Here, no payment is made yet to the supplier. Payment is still pending. Probably I'll make payment after 1 or 2 days. Okay. Now, when I'm recording the transaction in my Tally, now how do I make for it? It's purely a credit based transaction. It is not a cash based. It is a credit based. So what does this new reference bill means is, whenever goods are purchased or sold on a credit basis, which means when I'm purchasing and receiving the stock of 100 notebooks, I don't pay or I don't make even a single rupee payment to my supplier. I just received the stock, payment is yet to be made. So, which means that payment is not yet made, but still I have to record the transaction and I have to tag the invoice details. Yes, the invoice number, the party details, and everything. So, when I'm doing it, I have to select the type of bill as new reference bill. Okay. So you get four options, which you will see now when we are doing the vouchers. So Tally would be asking whether it is a credit based purchase or is it a immediate purchase. How is it? So in case if I am purchasing the goods on a credit where payment is not yet made, I have to go for a new reference. Same thing goes with the sale. Now I'm selling to one of my regular clients, regular customer. I don't receive the payment immediately. I receive after a couple of days. Still, I have to pass a sales voucher recording the credit sales under the type of bill as a new reference bill where no payment is received yet. Okay? Now, hope the first one is clear to all of you. Now the second we have, that is against reference. So what is this against reference bill? Against reference bill is directly giving the meaning only there to clear the pending bills. Okay? To clear the pending bill means, now what happens is, I have told you just now that after 1 or 2 days I have to pay the supplier for the 100 notebooks which I have purchased from him. Now I have to pay him how much? 2000 rupees. So after 2 days, when I make the payment to my supplier, when I have cleared the bill by initiating payment to him, in my tally, when I'm recording a payment voucher to record the clearance of bill of my supplier for rupees 2000, that time I have to select the type of bill as against reference, because against the bill only payment is cleared to the supplier. Without the bill, without the support of a bill as documentary evidence, would you make the payment? No. Only with the support of the bill as a documentary evidence we clear the bills. So in the same way, whenever the amount is paid to the supplier and the bills are settled, I go for an against reference bill. Next, the third option we have is advance bill. Okay. So what is this concept of advance? Advance says that before initiating any purchase or sale of goods, when some portion of amount is either paid on what? Paid on purchase or paid on sale, received on sale, that time what we have to choose is advance bill. Okay. So I think this all of you would be evident. Suppose, let's say in your home there is a small function. Okay, now you are going to receive some. No, you have to avail some catering services, outdoor catering services. Now let's say a total cost of the catering services is 30,000. Okay, for the function at your home. Now, would he wait till the complete service is provided to your house? Genuinely, what he would ask you, Madam, can we receive some advance? Yes or no? So 30,000 is the full payment to be made. Out of 30, he would receive an advance of, let's say, around 5 or 10,000 rupees. Remaining 20 you pay him once the services are being given. Yes. So that 5 or 10 what you give as advance, that time when you have to record the same in tally, right? When some amount is either paid to a supplier for the purchase or to when received from a customer on sales, that time we choose advance bill. That's what I've given here. Before purchasing or selling the goods, if some amount is paid or received, it is advance bill. The last one we have is on account. On account is straight. On account is when there's a spot payment. Now, I'll come back to that same stationery business example. Now, I have to pay 2,000 to the supplier. I am going to make the payment immediately to him. So, what do? I immediately transfer the amount to him and I settle the bill. So, that time I would go for on account spot payment. And to record the same, I use uh, the voucher to close the transaction. So, spot payment for a sale or purchase is on account under the types of bill. Then and there only transaction gets closed. So, these are the four types of bill: new reference, against reference, advance bill, on account. I hope it is clear for all of you. Now, based on these types of bill, let's pass an entry on the same under payment voucher. Yeah, we have to pass this last entry. Paid advance of rupees 2000 to BC traders by cash. Now, my company is paying advance of rupees 2000 to BC traders by cash. Now, here, advance is being paid to BC traders by the company. So, if I have to create a ledger as a BC trader, under which group would I create it? What he would be? Would he become my creditor or a debtor? He would be the creditor, nothing but my supplier, right? When I'm receiving advance, the party from whom the advance is received, he is the customer, the client, in the accounting terms, the sundry debtor from whom I have to receive the payment. So, accordingly, how do I pass the entry? Debit BC traders, credit cash account, because since in the form of cash or by way of cash advance is being paid to BC traders, funds are going out. So, credit cash account, debit is of course BC traders, the party to whom advance is being paid. Okay, so here if we have to choose the types of bill, we would choose advance bill for BC traders. So let's pass the same entry in the Tally software. Yes. Before I pass, Janisha, what is the transaction type screen you wanted to view for the advertisement or for the drawings? In the transaction type, what you can do is you can select any mode. I'll just put up in the chat box. Okay, so here, so create BC traders. I think BC traders ledger is already appearing in your list of ledgers. So you can select the same. I will create a ledger here as BC traders, sundry, creditor. Yeah, this is very, very important for all of you. Maintain balances bill by bill. This has to be yes. If this is no, we cannot get the types of bill. So make sure maintain balances bill by bill has to be yes. So press enter, enter, and close the ledger. So type the amount as 2000 rupees. Once you type the amount as 2000 rupees, okay, press enter. Yes. So once you press enter, can you see? You get the bill wise details screen for BC traders. Now, here you can see the four methods of adjustments, nothing but four types of bill. Just now we discussed, right? New reference, against reference, on account, advance. Now, since advance is being paid to BC traders, we have to choose the first one, that is advance bill. Name. Name is in whose name the advance is being paid. If there is a specific person, an authorized person or something, or a concerned person, you can put up his name. Let's say on behalf of BC traders, it is being paid to, uh, let's say, Kiran Kumar. Okay, or you can give any name. Otherwise, it is paid for the BC traders means you can type as BC traders. Now, what is this due date or the credit days? Due date is nothing but what is the total amount of period you would allow or you would receive for a purchase or sale. So, as of now, we will not discuss this due date or the credit period. When we go for the next set of vouchers, there we will have a discussion for the same. Now, what you would do is, as of now, you can just press enter and come to the amount column. Okay, once you come to the amount column, press enter, enter, and yeah, press enter again. So select cash. Yes. So being advance paid to BC traders. Probably you can extend the narration. Being advance paid to BC traders towards the purchase has not yet been made, but you can initiate it towards the purchase of, let's say, notebooks. What I gave the example. So being advance paid to BC traders towards the purchase of notebooks. So you can pass a simple narration like this and pass the entry. So once you pass the type the narration, pass the entry. Okay. So with this, we end with the payment vouchers. Okay. So we can take a break of 5 to 7 minutes, and then we can resume the session. Okay. Yes. So let's resume the session back after a short break. Right. So I told that after completing the payment vouchers, we will discuss the next set of voucher types, and which is it? Which is the voucher? Next voucher we will be discussing. Is receipt voucher. Okay. So so far we have covered the two vouchers, that is contra voucher, payment vouchers, and now we step into the third type of vouchers, that is receipt voucher F6. Okay. So what is the functional key for receipt voucher? It is F6, F4 for contra, F5 for payment, and F6 for receipt voucher. So now here, what kind of entries of what kind of transactions do we use a receipt voucher? If the business or the company receives income from any business source, that would find a place or that would be recorded in the receipt voucher. Okay, so the amount received for any business transaction should be recorded in this voucher, that is receipt voucher. Function key is F6. Now below I've given the syntax, in the sense how would the voucher appear. Now for the contra, the credit aspect appeared first and then the debit aspect. If we spoke about payment vouchers, okay, the debit aspect appeared first and then the credit aspect. For the contract was credit and debit. For the payment it is debit and credit. Now for the receipt voucher, what is the syntax? The credit aspect appears first and then the debit aspect. So the credit part is the source of income. Now, from which source? The nature of income or the nature of the source, that has to be recorded in the credit part, whereas on the debit part or on the debit side, how am I receiving the source of income? Is it by cash or whatever amount is being, is it through the bank, or what is the source that has to be accounted for? Okay, just a second. Yes. So let's continue. So I was discussing about the receipt vouchers, that the credit aspect is the source of income and the debit aspect would be the cash or bank. Now let's record the first entry. Received rent of 5,000, commission of 5,000 by cash for JP Nagar branch of the company. Company is receiving rent of 5,000 rupees, commission of 5,000 rupees in the form of cash for JP Nagar branch. This, how would we record in the Tally software? Here we are using cost categories and cost centers because specifically I have given here as a JP Nagar branch. So when you observe the entry, right? Now this, what is the syntax I have given you that time? That credit, income ledger, debit, cash or bank. Yes. So the credit aspect is the income ledger and debit aspect is either cash or bank. Now this, how do we put up in the voucher? Credit. Now rent and commission has been received, right? So rent received, commission received, debit. Now I receive both the sources of income in which form? It is by cash, yes? So debit cash. That's it. So this is how, see, I've substitute C. First I've given the syntax how a receipt voucher is appearing. Based on that only I've executed the entry. So credit, rent received, commission received, debit I'm receiving through cash and I'm having it the same in the same form. Then I'll give it as debit cash. Okay. So here, what is the amount? It was 5,000 rupees, right? So 5,000 rupees here and again 5,000 rupees on the credit side for commission, and totally we have here is 10,000 rupees. Yes, this is the way we pass the entry. So let's pass the same. Now, most important, please do remember that whenever you're creating a ledger for rent received and commission received, make sure you activate your cost centers. Only it is then you can select a JP Nagar branch which you have created at the time when you're creating cost categories and cost centers. Suppose if JP Nagar is not existing in your cost center, you can still create it on spot. Nothing to worry. Okay, so let's go for it. Right, so we'll use F6, press F6 to get the receipt voucher. Okay, now credit rent received. So I'm not having rent received. So what do I do? At the top, I'm having the create option. Select the create option and rent received. Under the group of indirect incomes. Yeah, this is the most important feature. Cost centers are applicable. It is yes. Please do activate the cost centers. Okay, cost centers are applicable has to be yes. The GST, the same procedure will follow. Not applicable. Accept yes. So what is the rent received? It is 5,000 rupees. Type 5,000 in the amount column on the credit side and press enter. Once you type the enter, you get the cost allocation screen. Okay. So here press the space bar and select the cost category as Bangalore. Now, under Bangalore, now I have to choose which area. It is JP Nagar, in JP Nagar branch. So space bar. Now I'm not having JP Nagar. Probably in your screens it would be Jayanagar, Kormangla and Basant Nagar. So again there is no JP Nagar being created. Now I am not having JP Nagar in your cost centers also, no JP Nagar is existing. So can you see here? We have a create option in the list of cost centers. Okay. So press enter on the create option. So here before creating, make sure the category is correct. Now as of now in my screen you can observe it is showing as advertisement. Now under advertisement I can't create JP Nagar branch, right? So keep an eye on the category. So how to change the category? I had given you a tip how to go for it. That is backspace. First press the backspace and then press the space bar. First a backspace and then a space bar. Then first you choose Bangalore. Okay. First select Bangalore. Now under Bangalore you have JP Nagar. So enter, enter, enter. Yes. So now we have 5,000 for JP Nagar branch rent received. Press enter, enter. Yes. Now again there is one more source of income which is to be received by the company, that is commission. Yes. So CR, enter, commission received. Again there is no ledger in the list of ledgers. So what do we do? See, we go for the create option, commission received. Under the same group, indirect incomes, type of ledger not applicable, cost centers yes, GST not applicable, 5,000. Same, Bangalore, JP Nagar. Debit, cash. And this is the way we pass the entry. Okay. Being rent and commission received for JP Nagar branch. Okay. So being rent and commission received for the JP Nagar branch. Type the narration, pass the entry, pass the entry. Right. So like this, we pass the first entry for the receipt voucher. I hope all are clear with the first entry under the receipt voucher.
Mom.
Yes, Ayushi. This is for Ayushi Gupta. See, actually, what happens? You have to make sure whether you have chosen the right cost category. Now, if you're going to create this, if you're going to repeat the same name under a different cost category, it will come name already exists because it has already been repeated. So what you have to do is when you're creating on spot, I'm not talking about the usual cost categories and cost centers, where we go to the create option. But when we go on spot creation of cost centers, make sure you have chosen the right cost category. That's why I've told you, press the backspace, space bar, and then select the right cost category and then give the cost centers. Suppose if there is a wrong one by mistake you would have given, you can still correct it on spot. You can go to Alt G, Alter Master, select Cost Center. Don't select Cost Category. Select Cost Center. Then you can make the necessary changes there. I hope it's clear for Ayushi Gupta.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Now we go for the next entry. Right. Furniture worth 18,000 was sold at 15,000 by cash. Okay. So the net worth of the furniture is 18,000. It was sold for 15,000 by cash. Now, how do we treat this entry? Worth is 18, but I receive on sale only 15,000. So the difference amount of 3,000, what it can be treated as?
Discount.
Loss on sale of
Discount.
furniture.
Then,
Loss
The
on sale of
loss. So it
furniture.
will be profit and loss account.
yes, it's a loss. It can be anything. Either it can be a discount or it can be a loss. Now, whenever I'm selling any asset, selling any stock, I allow discount. This all of you agree, right? Discount is allowed. Whenever we make a purchase, we receive discount. So that's one point. Second, one of you told that it is treated as a loss because 18,000 is the cost price, but I'm receiving only 15,000, so the remaining 3,000 should be a loss. Yes, that aspect also can be considered. It can be assumed any one of the situations. But the common point here is whether you take a loss on sale or you take a discount. Now, here you take discount on sale or you take loss on sale. Whether you take discount on sale or the loss on sale, both are categorized under the same group. What is it? It is indirect.
Indirect expenses.
Very good. It is indirect expenses. So both will have the same effect. Suppose if it is a discount on sale, it is under categorized under the group of indirect expenses or a loss on sale under the same group. So there is same effect. So I would leave it to you. If you have to take if you want to take a discount on sale, you're free to do it or loss on sale. Now here I would take a loss on sale, okay, because I'm not receiving the exact amount. Discount on sale also, there's nothing wrong. You can easily take up. So now what happens is furniture has been sold and I have received 15,000 by cash. Okay. Now here we will make a small addition. I am selling furniture. The cost of furniture is 18. I am receiving 15,000 by cash. Now he gives me cash of 15,000. Fine. What do I do is I will just make a small addition. 15,000 of cash, I will not keep it in the form of cash itself. What do I do is I will deposit in my company's bank account. I'll repeat it again. 15,000 what I receive as cash on the sale of furniture, I would not retain in the form of cash. Rather, whatever cash I receive from the sale or on sale proceeds, I would deposit the same in my company's bank account. So, how I can interpret the same in the Tally software under the receipt voucher? Let's do it. So, let's pass the entry. Now, when the furniture is being sold, furniture is an asset. Asset real account. So, what is the rule? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. So furniture is going out of my business. So credit what goes out. Select the furniture. I think in the list of ledgers for all of you, it would be appearing. Select furniture. Now, what is the total value of the furniture? It is 18,000. So type 18,000. Once you type the amount as 18,000, press enter, debit, enter. Now here, create a ledger. Now whether you take it as a discount alert or a loss on sale, you have to create, I think, both of them. If you're already having a discount alert, you can choose that. Now I will create here loss on sale. Under the
Ma'am,
group
is
of
it loss
indirect,
on sale of assets, ma'am?
nope, I can just give it as loss on sale. In short, that's more than enough. Okay,
No, ma'am, I am
so
getting it as loss on sale of assets, ma'am, when I type it.
not an issue. Loss on sale of assets also you can give. Whether you take on loss on sale of assets, anything would be okay. Both are the
Yes.
same meaning. Just an extension of two words. That's it. So under the group of indirect expenses, type of ledger not applicable. Make sure cost centers are no here, because let me go back to the entry here and make it clear for all of you. I have never given anywhere here furniture belonging to the Jayanagar or the JP Nagar branch was sold. I am silent about which branch the furniture is being sold. So there is no activation of cost centers here. You have to be extra careful. What happens is it would be activated already as yes. So what you should do is you have to deactivate it as no. So cost centers are applicable. It has to be no. Press enter. As usual, turn off the GST. GST not applicable. Yes. So we have how much loss? 3,000 is the loss. Press enter. Enter. Now, debit. Now, I told you one simple thing. 15,000 I receive payment, right? 3,000 I'm having a loss. The remaining 15 I receive by cash, and that cash I deposit in my company's bank account. Now, I will assume that ICICI Bank is my company's bank account. Now, you would have also had a list of bank accounts created, right? HDFC Bank, Canara Bank, ICICI Bank, Syndicate Bank. You can assume any bank as your company's bank account. Now, in my case, I will assume ICICI Bank as my company's bank account. So, what do I do is I will select ICICI Bank. Yes. So what I told that 15,000 I will deposit in my company's bank account, right? So debit ICICI Bank 15,000. Now, once you select ICICI Bank or any other bank ledger as your company's bank account, press enter. Yes. So you get the bank allocation screen. Now here in the bank allocation screen, you have got the transaction type. All of you have got the transaction type. Okay. Now over here, now in which form you are receiving 15,000? The customer or the buyer is giving you in the form of cash. Yes. So what you have to do is press the space bar, select show more at the top in the transaction types, and over here ATM card, and third one you have a cash. So select cash under transaction type. Why? Why? Because the buyer or the client or the customer, however you define, he has given 15,000 by way of cash. that cash you take and you deposit into the ICICI bank, right? So here in the transaction type screen, Tally would be asking that how are you depositing 15 with the check, with the e-fund transfer? What is the mode? What is the form? So I would select here cash. I'm having cash, so I'm depositing the same into the bank. So transaction type should be cash, amount 15,000. Press enter. There is no instrument, there is no check number, because once we give cash, there is no place for giving a check number, right? So press enter, 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 yes, and you come back to the narration screen. So this is the way you have an internal allocation, internal way of transactions with regard to the vouchers. Yes. So being payment received towards the sale of furniture and deposited the same into ICICI or whichever bank, or into the bank also you can give. Being payment received towards the sale of furniture and deposited the same into the bank. So type the narration and pass the entry. Right. So once you type the narration, accept, yes. Okay. Right. Now we go for the third entry, that Vinod introduced 6 lakh into the business by HDFC Bank check. That's actually one of the most important entries. Okay, I will tell you the reason why. Now, here in this particular transaction, if we read the transaction again, Vinod introduced Vinod introduced 6 lakh into the business by HDFC Bank check. Now, if I have to create a ledger in the name of Vinod, under which group can I create it?
Capital
Capital.
account.
Yes, it is capital. Good. So, if I have to create a ledger in the name of Vinod, it is capital account, because here the word itself says Vinod introduced. So assuming that it's a partnership firm or associates, a group of persons, individuals associated with the business, we have to create Vinod in under the group of capital account. Okay, assuming that Vinod is one of the partners. So now he is introduced 6 lakh into the business, and how is he introducing 6 lakh? He's not giving by cash, right? Rather, he will issue by way of a check, HDFC bank check. Okay. Now here again there is a allocation of funds. So how do we pass this entry? Now here what happens? Vinod has introduced 6 lakh into the business by an HDFC bank check. Yeah. So here what has happened is we have the credit, we have the debit. Okay. Now what happens? Since Vinod introduces capital into the business, Vinod becomes the giver of funds. Yes. Now Vinod is what? A person, natural person, personal account. Debit the receiver, credit the giver. Vinod becomes the giver of funds here. So credit Vinod, okay? So that is 6 lakh. Debit. Now, again, here we have, as I told, an internal allocation of funds. Now, Vinod is giving a HDFC bank check. Yes. So with the transaction, you can have a clarity that he is issuing which bank check? HDFC bank check, which Vinod is giving a check. My company's bank account is ICICI Bank, which I declared in the previous transaction, right? So whatever HDFC Bank check is being issued by Vinod, I will deposit the same into the ICICI Bank. Okay, so the same entry I have to put up here. So what? How? In which way I would pass the transaction? Credit Vinod. Vinod becomes the giver. Debit ICICI Bank. And in the bank allocation screen, I have to give the bank check details of HDFC Bank. Is that clear? Divya, I think you have to mute yourself. I think it's been unmuted. Yeah, please take all steps to mute. Okay. Right. So what happens is credit Vinod, debit ICICI Bank. Okay. Now the same entry we will pass up here. Okay. So here credit Vinod.
என் கம்ப்யூட்டருக்கு ஓ நான் வரவே மாட்டேன் என்ன கூப்பிடுறாங்க பாரு போய் அவங்கள கேளு
I would request Divya
யார்
to
என்ன
mute.
கூப்பிட்டாங்களோ கூப்பிட்டு அனுப்பிச்சாங்க
Please take all the steps to mute yourself because it would cause a disturbance for the session. Yeah, so again and again, I won't be repeating it. So make sure you do mute yourself. If there's any questions to be asked, you can unmute and you can raise your questions, or the best way is you can put up in the chat box. So I'll be replying to you, not at least with a message, but at least, of course, verbally I'll be doing it. So make sure do mute yourself. Okay? Yeah, it would cause disturbance for the others as well as you. So credit Vinod account. So I have to create a ledger for Vinod, right? So what do I do? In the list of ledgers at the top, I have the create option. Yeah, Vinod under the group of capital. Now here again, cost centers have to be no. 6 lakhs. Press enter. Enter. Now, what I told that the 6 lakhs what has been introduced by Vinod, I will be depositing in the company's bank account. Company's bank account is ICICI Bank. 6 lakhs. Okay. So once you select the company's bank account, press enter. Yes. So here you have the transaction type screen. Now, yes, so here we have in the bank allocation. Now under transaction type we have the check or DD. Yes. So what you have to do is you will retain the check as it is because I am receiving a check from Vinod by HDFC Bank. So check or DD will remain the same. It will not be changed. So press enter. Now, here you have to give the check number. Now, Vinod would have issued a HDFC Bank check, right? That check number and the name of the bank has to be given. So here I'll give the 6-digit check number of HDFC Bank. Enter, enter. Now I'll come to the bank name. Now I would repeat it as I told in the previous session, that if I'm a licensed user, I have purchased this TallyPrime software. If I press the space bar, I would get the list of banks. Okay, but since I am using a trial version of the Tally software, I would not get the list of banks, but still I can specify the bank name by selecting specify bank name and press enter. Specify bank name, and you can type the name of the bank here as HDFC Bank. So you can type the name of the bank as HDFC Bank, press enter. Yes. So type the narration as being being capital, being capital introduced by Vinod. Being capital introduced by Vinod into the business. Okay. So like this, you type the narration and you have to pass the entry. So type the narration and pass the entry. Okay. Yeah. So now, once you type the narration, accept yes. Okay. Now, we'll go for the next move under receive vouchers. Yeah. Company has received a State Bank of India check of 16,000 from Priya. Now, SBI check of worth 16,000, value 16,000 is received from Priya. Now, the question here is, if I have to create Priya's ledger to record the receipt of the payment of 16,000, under which group can I create? You have to make a comparison between Vinod and Priya here. Now, Vinod we created under the group of capital, but what about Priya?
Is it income?
No. Priya is a person.
Ma'am, creditor. Creditor.
Think again, think again. Is it a creditor? Read the words, read the sentence. Company receives a check from Priya. So Priya should be what for the
Customer.
company?
Customer.
Customer, yes. Customer is nothing but sundry. Very good.
Debtor.
It is a sundry debtor. Creditor is nothing but a supplier. Pa. Debtor is nothing but a customer for the business. This you have to record it, note it. See, one thing, debtor is equivalent to a customer in your business terms. Okay, while supplier in general terms and a creditor in the business terms. So creditor is equivalent to the supplier, the debtor is equivalent to the customer. So since I'm receiving payment from Priya, probably on account of sales or for some other reason, or selling of services or sale of goods, I would have received, I would have made of 16,000 for which I would have received the payment. So if I have to create the ledger for Priya, I have to create it under the group of sundry debtors. Okay, right. So how to pass this ledger? Same thing. Now what do we do? What we did the last time? We received a State Bank of India check from Priya. Now same thing. ICICI Bank is my company's bank account. Okay. Now I have received a check of State Bank of India from Priya. So again here there is an internal allocation of funds. Okay. So the same thing we'll put up here. Credit Priya. Now Priya becomes the giver of funds, right? So Priya under the group of sundry debtor, bill by bill as yes, maintain balances bill by bill, let it be yes, others all nothing, accept yes. So 16,000 you type the amount, press enter. Now here you have to choose on account. Why it is on account? On account means what? It's a spot payment, spot receipt. Yeah. So I'm receiving payment from Priya. So on spot. So I have to choose on account. 16,000 credit, enter. Now debit, we take up the company's bank account because I'm depositing the funds into the company's bank account, ICICI Bank. So I'll select ICICI Bank here, 16,000, enter. Yes. Now here I have received a SBI check from Priya. So check or DD will be the same under transaction type. Press enter, enter. Now here, give the instrument number, check number of Priya's check. So you can give any 6-digit number. Then the bank name. Now which bank's check have received from Priya? SBI. So space bar, specify the bank name, State Bank of India. Yes. So type the name as State Bank of India, press enter, and now you put up as being payment received from Priya. If you want, you can give a detailed explanation. Being payment received from Priya, probably towards the sales. We can give a in short towards the sales made. Okay. So type the narration and pass the entry. I'll go for the next one. Received brokerage services by cash. Okay. So here company has received brokerage service, brokerage charges, brokerage fee in the form of cash. Now here specifically is not being told from any person, but I've just given as receive brokerage charges in the form of cash. Now this, how do we make a record? Brokerage charges is an income for the company, right? It is an indirect income in the form of cash is being received. Now here I would keep up the cash in the same form. I would not deposit into my company's bank account. So what happens is, how do I record the same? I'll repeat it. whatever cash has been received on account of brokerage charges as my brokerage fee for the company, I would retain it in the form of cash itself and keep it in my company's locker. Rather, I would not deposit the same into the ICICI bank, my company's bank account. So, how do we make up the entry for the same? Yeah, so what happens is, what is the credit aspect? It is the source of income ledger, right? So from which source the amount is being received? Through brokerage charges. So what you have to do is, you have to select the create option, create a ledger as brokerage charges under the group of indirect income. Type of ledger not applicable. Cost centers, make sure it is no. GST not applicable. So what is the brokerage? It is 3,000 rupees. Type 3,000 in the amount column on the credit side. Debit cash. Okay, so debit cash. Debit what comes in? Yeah, cash is coming into the business. So debit cash. Being payment received towards the brokerage services provided. Being payment received towards the brokerage services provided by way of cash. Okay, like this, you have to pass the entry. Being payment received towards the brokerage services provided by way of cash. So type the narration. Okay, type the narration and pass the entry. Janisha, you have not got the option of check number. Probably you have not checked out the transaction type, because if transaction type is check, cash, you won't get the DD or check details. So make sure the transaction type is check or DD, and then check number will automatically be appearing. I hope it's clear for you, Janisha.
Ma'am, transaction type is check.
Check or DD. Then still check number is not appearing. So check if it is not appearing. What you can do is, it is very easy. You can press F12 configuration. Okay. Now here, let me pass this entry. Now here, what you do is, let me go for the older one to give a clarity for that. Now for Priya, we did a check transaction, right? So now here the check number is not appearing in the transaction type. Uh, is it check or DD appearing? You have told it is yes. but the check number is not present. So what you do is you can press F12 configuration. Press F12 configuration, and you have a third feature, show instrument number during the voucher creation. The third feature. If that is no, you will not get the check details over there. So make sure it is yes. Okay, mark it as yes, enter. You come back and check, then of course you have the check number existing. I hope you've got the uh, problem solved, Janisha. Okay, now we have completed the contra, payment, and the receipt vouchers. Okay, in the today's session. So we have completed until here, we have completed three sets of vouchers. Now, before I move on to the next one, now which is the next one we have to go for? Yes, it is a journal voucher. Yeah, we are finished with contra, payment, receipt, and next one would be a journal voucher. Now, when we come to the journal voucher, it is different from the rest. It is most important here to analyze the entries for passing the same. Now, of course, I would give you the last couple of minutes. If you have any doubts regarding contra, payment, or receipt, you can go for it.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Huh.
Ma'am, for contra entry, I actually forgot the step. How do we go from single entry to double entry? That you showed some method, but I forgot it. So if you could repeat it.
Yeah, sure. Now, now let's say your contra voucher is appearing in this way. Yes. So this is a single
Yes,
entry mode.
ma'am.
So you have the account, current balance, and under that you have particulars and amount. Yes. So this,
Yes, ma'am.
if you have to convert it into the double entry mode, where you have to get the credit and the debit aspect, you have to use Control H. Control H is change mode option, which you can see in the vertical button bar. See if you can see, it's available in my display. Control H change mode option. If you select change mode option, there you can shift from single entry to double entry mode. Okay, and once you
Yes,
shift
ma'am.
from, you get credit and debit. Is that fine?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Thank
Yep.
you.
Okay. Okay. So I hope it's all clear for all the three vouchers for all of you. That's contra, payment, and receipt. So I'll just discuss about the journal vouchers. We would not pass any entries for the same because I would not like to go as of now in the last couple of minutes. Of course, I'll have a brief discussion on the journal vouchers. Now, what do we mean by the journal vouchers? Now, journal voucher is used for all kind of adjustment based entries. Okay? Yes. So, example for recording the what I've given there, appreciation, depreciation of assets, for recording the credit based entries, receivables, payables, and for transfer of funds from one partner's capital to another partner's capital account. So, I can say in one shot that those transactions which don't have any cash or bank aspects, such transactions find a place in journal voucher. Okay, so journal voucher is referred as the adjustment voucher. All types of transactions can be entered in this voucher except cash and bank related. So, what type of transactions I've given here? Depreciation or appreciation of assets, receivables or payables, that's for debtors and creditors, then transfer of funds from one capital to another partner's capital account. Okay. So what is a functional key for accessing a journal voucher? It is F7. Now F4 is contra, F5 is payment, F6 is receipt, F7 is a journal voucher. Okay, so this is how we have to access the journal vouchers. Of course, we have a list of entries to be passed, which I would not be told that I would be not be accessing as of now. So here, I told you about it is a non-cash, non-bank transaction, right? So if you observe here, if I come back to the contra voucher, what is the syntax here? It's credit cash or bank, debit cash or bank, correct? Only cash or bank related. If I come to the payment voucher, debit is the nature of expense ledger, while credit aspect is the cash or bank, correct? If I talk about a receipt voucher, credit is source of income ledger, debit is cash or bank. So in all the three vouchers, you have cash and bank essence. But if I talk about a journal voucher, it is non-cash, non-bank entries. So how could we pass the entries, in which way? We will discuss the same in the next session. Okay. So I hope it's clear for all of you till here. Please have your practice consistent up till now, whatever has been done till date. Okay. So that we can progress with the journal vouchers in the next session. So let's end up the session for the day.